The video you are watching is related to the construction and assembly of the fixed focus system. The fixed focus system is a new solar system and has its own advantages. Certain methods of using solar energy can be used with a fixed focus system. This system is cheap and has the ability to be used in homes. I am very glad that you are with us. And thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the Fixed Focus channel. Thanks regards, Ebrahim Hashemi. Hello. Welcome to Fixed Focus channel. I hope that you are happy and healthy wherever you are. In this video we are going to build or actually assemble a new fixed focus system. I have already designed and built all the components needed to build this system so that we can do the construction steps faster. And of course you can easily design and make them. Well, we start from the main and fixed base of the system. As you can see, this base is made of two large iron pipe rings, which is connected to a 5 cm metal tube in the center. You can see the dimensions of this double circular base in the figure. Of course, you don't have to use two circular rings. You can give any height you want to the base. For example, consider it in the middle and place a sheet under each vertical base or dig the bases into the soil. If I have used two metal rings here, I would like to place the required equipment in the space between the two iron rings so that it occupies less space and also perform various tests. I place 4 pieces of stoneware under this base to have a better balance and to protect the underlying base from oxidizing. The tube in the center has a higher height and there is a foam ring on it. This foam ring keeps the bearings at the right level. These two large bearings are placed in the center and on the central tube, and it is not necessary to use the first-class type, and it is sufficient if it is healthy. You can even use the second-hand type because the speed of the rotation is very low. Well, I will put them on the tube. It is enough to put the bearings on a high level and in the right place. Now it's time for the movable base of the system. This movable base is placed on the fixed base, and you can see its dimensions in the figure. The movable base is made of a 2 cm iron can. The fixed base pipes are also 2 cm. This movable base has 2 independent metal rollers. One is this metal roller and the other is this metal roller that rotates easily. The third roller is made of compressed rubber, which is like this, and an electric motor moves it. The big iron washer is to prevent the rubber ring from coming out. Now we place the base like this on the fixed part. First, we need to fasten the circular fastener to the bearings. It would have been better if someone was filming so that I could show the details more easily, but now I'm going to move the camera closer. To build this mobile structure, we must first fasten the semicircular fasteners to the bearings and then connect and weld the other components. This method makes work easy and it causes precision in its construction. So I have to tighten the screws. Before I tighten the semicircular set screws, I need to fix the looseness of the bearings that you can see. For this, I use a number of small pieces of iron sheet. In this way, I place them between the bearing and the pipe. Now you can see that the looseness of the bearing has been fixed. And now I close the screws. Now the moving part is ready and completely with the fixed part by bell brake is connected. You can see that it moves easily. This part can rotate 360 degrees around itself. Of course, there are other methods for preparing the base and the moving part, which I will discuss in future programs if I have time. Now I will move the solar dish here. In order to install this solar dish on the moving part, we need to install two legs on the moving part. These foundations should be such that they can provide two horizontal and vertical movements of the dish. Of course, horizontal movement is easy, but vertical movement by the legs should be like swinging. And the vertical movement should be such that the dish is always perpendicular to the supposed circle of focus. I have prepared two base numbers for this, which you can see. This is a base that has also been painted. And this is another base. Both of these bases are the same size and have neither left nor right. You can see its dimensions in the figure. A base for this side that is placed like this. And another base for the other side. These bases must be installed with screws. If you look carefully, you will see 4 holes on the base. And I mount this on one side of the moving part like this. It will be located exactly here. This base was installed so easily. The chord of the triangle on the base prevents bending of the vertical base. Now I do this part in the same way. Now both the main bases of the dish are ready. Pay attention that the length of the vertical base should be suitable for the vertical movement of the dish and is calculated according to the figure. Of course, I have considered the length of this base to be 130 centimeters, because the distance of the hole above the base should also be taken into account. The important point here is that our dish is bigger than the previous one and it cannot be hung with 2 legs. And it needs 4 hanging legs. These 4 hanging legs act like swing chains. I made 4 hanger legs like this and used threaded rod and carefully welded the ends to the iron nut. Of course, you can use bearings instead of nuts. 2 for one side and 2 for the other side. We choose 2 screws with the right diameter, which we must install on top of the vertical posts. These 2 screws must be able to bear the weight of the entire solar dish and are of particular importance. The screws are placed like this. Nuts welded to threaded rods are bolted at the proper distance. If the threaded rods is placed at the beginning of the main screw, the weight of the dish will cause more pressure to the vertical legs. Therefore, it is better to direct them to the end of the screw as much as possible. We do the same for the other side. We use one of the threaded rod for one side of the dish and the other for the other side of the dish. Another vertical stand for vertical movement should be installed here, and it is better to install it before installing the dish, because the dish will interfere with our installation. The part that should perform the vertical movement of the dish is fixed due to the size of the dish outside the circular axis of the base. Therefore, we use a structure to connect it with the horizontal axis. This is where our motor with gearbox fits. So I install it first. This is how the screws are screwed. This part is very strong and can easily support even my weight. So it can easily bear the weight of the dish. I made this vertical stand as you can see. I have placed a metal pulley on top of it, as you can see. The two bent legs on its side are vertical due to the strength of the leg, and you can see its dimensions in the figure. Now I bolt and install it on the system like this. There is some slack that won't be a problem in practice. The engine and gearbox will be placed here, which I will install later. Now I place the dish on the system. Well, now we close the threaded rods to the solar dish. I closed all 4 threaded rods and you can see that it can move like a cradle. The length of the screw passed from the edge of the dish should be such that the focus distance from the center of the dish is the same in all cases. In fact, the dish should be tangent to the focus circle. Here, because our dish is a circle with a radius of 2 meters, so the focus distance of the dish is 1 meter. Because the edges of the dish have a special curve, you can cut 2 pieces of pipe diagonally to the right size and place them under the beads. Of course, there is no need, but this method will be more basic. You can see that the dish can easily move in the vertical axis. And horizontal movement is also done in this way. Well, let's go to the installation of the engine and gearbox for vertical movement. This engine with a gearbox, along with an additional gearbox and a wire collecting roller, all work like a winch. Also, I installed the towing wire on its grooved roller and it easily supports the weight of the dish. And here is the place to install it. The installation of the vertical dish lift has been completed. And later I will connect the towing wire to the dish. One problem is that when the dish is directed upwards in one direction, the vertical legs tilt towards the dish. In order to prevent this from happening, we must use foundations in the opposite direction of the deviation of the vertical foundations. I prepared 2 bases with suitable length and install each on one side. To know that we have done the work correctly, we use a level. I'm going to place this alignment on top of the vertical base, and the base should be vertical. Now I will install the other diagonal support. Now you can see how much effect it had on the stability of vertical foundations. And the support bases of the solar dish will not be inclined anymore. Now we go to the installation of the solar panel. By installing a small 5-watt panel, we can supply the system's motion energy because the electric motors of this system have very little consumption. In fact, this panel charges the battery, and the battery transfers electrical energy to the motors, and horizontal and vertical movement is performed. This 5-watt panel is suitable and easily performs the work of the system, but you can also use a 10-watt panel. The installation of the panel was done, and the communication wire of its charge control is directly connected to the battery. Well, here we need to install the appropriate box to control the system. So here I install a box called System Control Box. I am installing this metal box here. This box is where the control circuit and battery and connections are located. Let's go to continue working. I use a 1.5 single pair cable for the electrical connection between the solar panel and the electric motor with a horizontal gearbox and the winch related to the vertical movement with the system control box. I use a cable that is resistant to sunlight and rain, and I am wiring these 2 cables for the solar panel and the electric motor for horizontal movement like this. First, I have to raise the dish on the reverse side to free up the workspace. The cable is pulled, and now we are going to pull the towing wire between the winch and the solar dish. The tow wire needs to be tied under the solar dish, so I bring the dish up. I connect it to the back of the solar dish with a fastener suitable for the towing diameter. It's time to install the tracker. The method of making this solar tracker and the control circuit inside the control box are in the previous videos, and you can refer to their address in the description of this video and watch them. For the fixed focus system, you must use a precise solar tracker, which of course exists in the market, but their price is high. The solar tracker is one of the most important parts of the fixed focus system, and it must be installed on top of the solar dish in a way that is perpendicular to the plane of the dish. You can use spiral guard wrap for better protection of the communication wires of the solar tracker and leave a suitable amount for the dish to move freely. Now I want to do the final installation, and it is a small 12-volt electric motor with a gearbox. This small electric motor can perform the horizontal movement of the system. I move the camera closer to see better. Now I will remove the obstacle that I have placed to hold the dish up. You can see that the toe is holding it up. Since the system circuits are not connected at the moment, I lower the dish with a battery and connecting it to a vertical electric motor. Now our dish is in horizontal position. Due to the increase in video volume, I connect the interface cables in the control box and then start the system. Therefore, after launching the system, we test it in front of the sun. Also, the weather is cloudy and we will test it on a sunny day. Now I started the system and you can see that it is working and the dish is perpendicular to the sunlight. Because we currently have other experiments with the fixed focus system, I have used an old copper spiral tube with an additional base as a focus. Because our solar dish is made of 5 cm mirrors, so its focus width is more and I have to use a bigger spiral tube. The center of the focus shadow on the dish should be in the center of the dish. Now the sun is almost at the highest point and because of that, the focus heat is more. I move it a bit to test the horizontal movement. You can see that the small DC motor is activated and returns the moving part to the first position. The heat of the focus is high and if I apply electrical contact cleaner spray to it, it produces a lot of smoke. Thanks for sticking with me this far and I've tried to explain clearly how to install the fixed focus system. Now the system is launched and active, and due to the increase in the volume of the video, I have not been able to explain the installation of the electrical circuit of the system. If something is not clear to you, write it in the comments so that I can answer it at the right time. The point I have to say is that this fixed focus stand that I have placed here is temporary and I did not have time to prepare a suitable focus. As you can see, the sun is on the horizon and the dish is pulled up. Thank you again for your attention to the video, and liking the video will help spread this information better. Until the next program, I wish you all to be healthy. Goodbye. Most videos on Fixed Focus channel have their own innovation and you won't regret watching them. Thank you for subscribing and liking.